Hello everyone and welcome to our online webinar. My name is Sadik Emir and I am the Product Manager for Elastic Execution Grid. I am really excited and I am really happy to welcome all of you to today's session, which is going to be the topic about Elastic Execution Grid and how to use it with Tosca Commander. So let's get it started. Our agenda will look like this. We are going to first talk about what Elastic Execution Grid is, understand the architecture and the differences, and then we are going to see a demonstration how it can be configured with Tosca Commander. In the end, we are going to also have a time to answer your questions, which are going to be popped up in the Q&A section. So, the test execution has a couple of key challenges. One of them is slow releases, means when you have a lot of test executions and you want to execute them, you don't have the time to do it. The second thing is the scalability is always limited. I mean, this depends sometimes or often on the hardware and or to software. And because of the limitations that we have, the orchestration is then limited. And lastly, the results are really poor. Maybe because of faulty infrastructure or because of faulty test cases. And we have tried to focus those topics by Elastic Execution Grid. Elastic Execution Grid can run anything, anywhere. Means our agents are operating system independent, and also those agents have the capabilities to execute any type of executions. Next, we are extremely scalable. We have done our tests with more than 10,000 tests at the same time, and those test cases could be orchestrated without having any performance issues. The last topic is we are focusing also on the results area with Elastic Execution Grid. Once you have executed your test cases, you can analyze them easy and in a quick way. In summary, Elastic Execution Grid is a SaaS offering that orchestrates and executes test cases in a large scale, with a rapid execution time and which is framework independent. So let's focus on a couple of features. The first one is, as mentioned lastly, framework agnostic. We have done our first integration with Tosca Commander, although we are ready to execute any type of test cases, which are not from Tosca Commander maybe. So what happens is the test cases get uploaded to our framework. The test cases gets uploaded to Elastic Execution Grid. You can structure them by using the flow concept, and you can execute them with our agents. Right now, as Tosca Commander is a designer, it is taking all of the work for you, and you can execute easily by using Tosca Commander. Share results. Currently, when you would like to use the Elastic Execution Grid, you have to onboard. We are going to see it in a second. And after onboarding, after the execution is done, you can share your results with the stakeholders and also maybe with someone who doesn't have installed Tosca Commander. So it is really easy and really shareable. This is the high-level architecture, how our Elastic Execution Grid works. On the left-hand side, you see your design studio, your test case design studio. In our particular example, this will be Tosca Commander. When you would like to execute your test cases from Tosca Commander, they are going to be pushed by using an authentication to our cloud server, and then we are responsible to distribute those test cases to the relevant agents. The results are being pushed back to our server and then back to Tosca Commander 2. On the top to all of those processes, by using our web portal, you can analyze what's going on and what has been executed and what the results look like. The agents can be downloaded and also installed locally. It's a copy-paste installation. We are going to see it also in a second. So if you have any SUTs which are locally installed, you can easily run your tests on them by using our agents. So let's go to the demonstration. To be able to use Elastic Execution Grid, what I'm going to do is open up the browser, and to be able to use it, I'm going to go to onboarding.my.tricentis.com. By opening up this page, you will land here at the welcome page. You can read the text, what Elastic Execution Grid is, and by clicking on Register Now, the registration process starts. Here you have to enter first your personal data, which is your first name and your short name, your last name, and I'm going to enter here the mail address of mine. Before you click continue, you can read the frequently asked questions if you're interested. And once you're ready, you can click on continue, and then you have to enter here your organization data. It is beneficial here to enter the company name when you're going to use it company-wide. Means, for example, if I would like to use it for Tricentis, I can enter here Tricentis, but you have to be careful. If this is already given, you will see here a warning, be careful, it is already in use. So I'm going to just enter my name on the end. Let's use this one. Here we are having terms of service and beta agreement. You can read through all of them, and after reading it, you can click here on the checkbox and continue with your registration. After clicking on continue, you will receive to the email address which you have entered an email. This is needed to enter the verification code, so it looks like this. You will receive it from us. This is a verification code. By double clicking on it, you can copy it and paste it directly here into the verification code area. After clicking on verify, it takes a couple of seconds. We are creating then your own area, means the data what you have entered into the organization data, we are currently then spinning up here the environment for you. This may take now a couple of seconds, and after it is ready, we will see here on the left corner the sign in button, and then can instantly jump to our own area of Elastic Execution Grid. Here we go. So as you can see, our account is ready. So what I need to do is click here on sign in. And as you can see here in the top, I'm getting forwarded to Tricentis.com. Here in the identity management system, I need to enter my email address. This is what I have entered a couple of seconds ago. I'm going to click here on next. I need to enter the password. So now, as you remember, we haven't entered the password. What happens is our cloud environment is responsible to create your user account and your password. As you can see here in the description, you will receive an email. When you open it up here in the description, you can see that we are creating a temporary password. You can copy it from the email, paste it here into the password section. Now what you need to do is change your password, as it is a temporary one, and you need to have a high secure password. Here we are having our requirements, what you have to fulfill, like enter a small letter and a big letter and a number, and it has to be at least 8 letters. So after fulfilling all of those requirements, you can change your password and you are ready to go. After all of those, after those steps, you are finished, and here is your own area for Elastic Execution Grid. On the top, as you can see, we are at Tricentis Sadik at my.tricentis.com. Here we are having our welcome page. If you have questions and you would like to get any feedback, you can use our feedback button here. I'm going to accept the cookies. And here we are at the welcome page. On the top, you can see a description what Elastic Execution Grid is, how our agents work, how the distribution does work. When you scroll down more, you will find helpful links like to our documentation. Here's the admin guide, user guide. On the right-handed side, you can see the forms where you can give also feedback. We are having a Tricentis idea portal where you can give for all of our products a feedback, now also for E2G2, or you can reach out to us directly by using our email address currently. So this is how you onboard to Elastic Execution Grid. Let's have a look what you need to do when you would like to use it with Tosca Commander. To do so, I have prepared here a workspace. Let me open up Tosca Commander. So to be able to use E to G with Tosca Commander, you have to have Tosca Commander version 14.3. Now here is a spoiler alert for you. There is going to be a support for 14.2 in the next patch. So I think this is hopefully big news. So I'm using here 14.3. Currently, to be able to use Elastic Execution Grid integration in Tosca Commander, what you need to do is you have to first, before starting up Tosca Commander, go to the installation folder of Tosca Commander, which is here at Program Files, Tricentis, Tosca Test Suite, Tosca Commander. We are having here the configuration file of Tosca Commander. It is called toscacommander.exe.config. You have to open it up manually. And when you scroll down, you will find here a configuration called Elastic Execution Grid add-in enabled. So per default, this one here is set to false. You have to set it to true and restart Tosca Commander. We have done this because Elastic Execution Grid is currently in a tech preview, as you know. So we wanted to move the user to the motivation to activate it manually when they would like to use it. So, but this is going to be changed in the future. So this is only for the first version, means in the next versions, it will be activated automatically. So after setting the value here to true and restarting Tosca Commander, what you will see is you will find here in the executions area a new event, a new object called Cloud Test Events. This is our communication channel between Tosca Commander objects and Elastic Execution Grid. If it doesn't exist, when you open up Tosca Commander, you can create it easily by right-clicking here, and then, your folder has to be checked out too. Right-clicking and then selecting Create Cloud Test Events. So, as this is our communication channel between Tosca Commander and Elastic Execution Grid, the channel needs to know where we are going to reach out to in the cloud. Means we have created now a new area for ourselves in E2G. We have a new tenant for ourselves, but we have to also let Tosca Commander know what it is and where it is. To do so, here in the projects, under settings, we are having a new configuration, which is helping the integration to understand with which tenant it should communicate. So when you go to here, Commander and distributed execution, under cloud area, you will find here 3 new configurations. For us, it will be important for us to configure Tricentis execution grid URL. So I'm going to delete, let's do it the way around. What I'm going to do is here, change the tenant name to Tricentis Sadik. And I have to enter the whole URL currently. So it means https://tricentissadik.my.tricentis.com/default. And the other 2 configurations are the default values. We don't have to change them. So we can then easily close here the configuration, the settings folder. The settings window. Now I have the right word. So after configuring the URL, now we would be ready to go. So how the cloud test event works is the behavior is really similar to test events. As you can see here, we are having under the cloud test events folder different cloud test events. So let me check this one here out. So to be able to use the cloud test events, you have to have also a multi-user workspace, like test events also needs it. So when you have your multi-user workspace and check out your folder, you can by right-click here create easily cloud test events. And in the cloud test events, as you are also familiar with test events, you can easily drag and drop your execution list here and then check in all again. So we have to, before we execute now anything, we have to be just make sure that one configuration is ready, because Elastic Execution Grid needs this configuration. You have to have the configuration ready on the project root level, when you go to properties definition, you will find here in execution list one new definition, which is called execution flow. You have to create it if you don't have it to be able to use Elastic Execution Grid. Value range is currently parallel, sequential single machines, or sequential multiple machines. I have set here a default value, which is parallel, because we want to execute parallel with Elastic Execution Grid to be able to really fast with execution. And the differences here between the configurations are, parallel means if I would have in my execution list different test cases, I don't have any dependencies from one to the other one, so I would like to execute all of them at the same time in a parallelized way. Sequential single machine means I have a high dependency in my execution list, and before my test case, my second test case gets executed, I need to wait until my first test case is finished, and the dependency is so hard, for example, as we know T-Box, when we are using buffers, I need to have all of those test cases executed on one machine. So this is what I would then use. And in the end, we are having sequential multiple machines. This means it can be the case that you are having your end-to-end test automation in Tosca Commander, which is like known for Tosca Commander. And you're having business dependencies between those test cases. Means because maybe of data, or because you have to prepare your environment by using the test case first. But you are not having the dependencies to execute those test cases on one single machine. But they still need to wait to the previous one to get executed. So you would then use this configuration here, that you can distribute your test cases also on multiple machines, but they have to wait until the previous test case is ready. So this is the difference of those three configurations here. After having those, you can jump to your cloud test event, right click on it. I'm going to first use my smoke test. Right click on it and select here either execute or execute and import results. The difference here is execute is in execute mode, like direct execution mode. Tosca Commander communicates directly with E2G. Means Tosca Commander tells E2G which test cases are going to be executed, packages those test cases, uploads those test cases to E2G, and E2G is then responsible to distribute them by the definitions and by the connected agents. So when this happens, the results are not getting back imported into Tosca Commander because we are not having then the information anymore which test case in Tosca Commander it was. So this is an instant execution. But when you would like to use import back the results into your Tosca Commander repository, you can use execute and import results. So what happens is Tosca Commander communicates with E2G by using your automation object service. We're going to see in a couple of minutes also the configuration for it. And Tosca Commander doesn't communicate strictly with E2G anymore. So AOS service, the automation object service, is something like a proxy. Is responsible on the one hand then for the execution on the cloud side, and then is also responsible to import back the results from those executions into Tosca Commander. To showcase, I'm going to first start with execute. So I'm going to select this one here. Let's wait a couple of seconds and a new window pops up. I have to enter here again my credentials. So this is my email address, and I hope I haven't forgotten my password, which I just right now set up. No, I didn't. Perfect. And on the left corner here, we can see that the tests are getting prepared and uploaded. And after those are ready, when we jump back, we can see here a pop-up, which gives us the ID from E2G of the tests which were created. And by clicking OK, I can here then change to my E2G and then begin exploring. So in E2G, the navigation is on the left-handed side. On the top, we are having the home screen. The second navigation point here is executions. The third one is agents. And the last one is downloads area. We have started an execution, so let's jump to execution and see what is going on here. So when we click here executions, we see the executed, like the triggered test, cloud test event in Tosca Commander. As you can see, this is in the running stage, but the thing is, we are not, when I click on it, you will see also the detailed view of which test cases I also have executed. So I can go more in detail. So I'm right now in ETG perspective in the flow smoke tests, and I'm having the unit valid test and invalid test here, which are the execution entries in Tosca Commander. They are pending because I don't have currently any agents configured yet because I just right now onboarded. But I have already triggered something, so I need to prepare also my agents that I can continue with my execution. So how do I do it? To do so, I need to go here to my downloads area. And what I have here is on the left-handed side, you can see the Elastic Execution Grid agent. I'm going to click here on the download button, and the front end here, the Elastic Execution Grid prepares the download, and I can save then the data into my downloads area. Now you're wondering, while we are here in the downloads area, you see here a Tosca version and an add-on. Yes, we are having here also in our downloads area for the customers who would like to try it out with 14.0. We have prepared here an add-on. They can easily download it. They will also find here the documentation, how to install it. And this is not a fully integration into Tosca Commander. This is just a try-out add-on, so that you don't have to upgrade to 14.3 to try it out. Let's come back to our agents. I have to open up the folder here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this agent on a virtual machine. I'm copy pasting it here. The installation of the agent, the copy is right now a little bit slow because my connection to the virtual machine, which is hosted in our company, is a little bit slow. But the installation here of the new ETG agent is more smoother than the agents which we had before, because you don't have to have any administrator rights to install it, or you don't have to have any administrator rights to use it. So it means it is a simple copy-paste installation. We wanted to also help our customers to be more to have here less confusing steps to configure the E2G agent. So what does it mean? It means I have to right click here and extract my zip file. I would like to have a beautiful folder name. I'm going to use this one, and after my extract here is finished, actually I don't have to install it. Let me close the old window here. I don't have to install it. I could just right now double click on the agent and start it. But before I do it, I need to still let my agent know to which tenant and to which tenant with which authorization it should connect. Oh my gosh, that was a little bit difficult. I'm sorry. So it means I have to configure my agent before I can start it. So to do so, I have to open up here the app settings YAML file, which is where I'm using Notepad++ because I think it is really smooth. Let me close here the configurations area, which are not important right now. And what we need to do here is, as you can see, I have to define here a tenant name directly in the agent documentation, in the agent configuration file. We have also tried to create a little bit small documentation that the users know what can be done. We are currently focusing on Tosca Commander usage, so I'm going to not go deeper into the other configurations because we are having really smart agents. If you're interested, feel free to come back to me, and I am happy to give you more insights regarding what you can do with the agent. But To focus on our topic, we are at executing Tosca Commander test cases. So what I need to do here is I need to enter first the tenant name which I have created right now. It is Tricentis Sadik. And on the top to it, I need to enter here client secret because we are having already the client ID here inside. So how do I get it? To get the client ID, we need to go to the portal again. So this is E2G. And here on the right corner, you're having your account configurations. When you click on it, you will see here my account. When you click on it, what will happen is you will jump here directly to our identity management service, but you cannot here get directly the client secret. You have to be the administrator. So when you click to the name next to you, you have the administrator button. When you click on it, what you need to do is you have to first configure your Okta Verify application. It is when you click here on configure it, you have either the possibility to use your iPhone or your Android. When you click on next, you have to first download the application. I hope I can easily find it and show it to you which one it is. On Android, it would be this one here. You have to download this one, this application, because we wanted to have a really high secure cloud environment. And you can then, as you can see it here in the screenshot, enter multiple accounts into your Okta Verify application. So I'm already having it downloaded on my phone, on my smartphone. So I'm opening it up and I'm scanning right now this QR code. And after scanning it, a new account gets generated on my application, and then I can click here on verify and enter here the code which gets provided to me so I can access the administrator area of Okta. You have to also enter here first like a question when you would forget your password. What is the question? Mine is, what was your first animal's name? It was Delia. And when I click here, create my account, I'm going to instantly then jump here into the administrator area of Okta. So what I can do here is on the left-hand side, we are having applications, application, and here in this list, we are having the names for our agents and also the secrets to it. I can now easily jump to Elastic Execution Grid agent, which is on the top, click on it, and here I can then copy out my client secret. As you can see, my client ID is already here entered, and client secret, by clicking here, I can copy it into my clipboard. When I go back to my agent, I can then paste it here and replace the placeholder. So what I need to do is actually here then actually not only saving this configuration file, and by double clicking, I can then start easily my agent. As you can see, it is getting connected to my tenant, and the test case, as you remember, we had triggered one test case here. When I go back here, I can see and open up my flow. I can see now that the first one is already running. And this is it actually. This is how you can configure your agent, and this is how you can configure your security connection. On the top, what I would like to mention is the installation on my side here was a copy-paste installation, but to be able to run Tosca Commander test cases, what you need to do on the top is you have to make sure that at least the Dex agent is installed, or Tosca Commander is installed on your machine where you would like to use E2G agent, because E2G needs T-Box to execute Tosca Commander test cases. Currently, we are not providing it out of the box because we are being framework independent and we wanted to have small agents. Currently, we are not providing it directly out of the box as we are also in a tech preview. So if you would have any feedback and comments and questions regarding this, I would be really happy to answer them. So this is how you can execute it with your Tosca Commander. We can see when I click, we can see here that it was successful, both of them. Now the benefit of E2G is I'm not seeing that it was successful. When I click on my unit here, it opens up a new window, a new pop-up window where I can see what did happen during the test case, during the automation. I was setting here parameters, doing a verification if it is the right value, and I'm sending back the result. So I can also analyze here a little bit more in detail. And if I would be interested, I can still copy here the link and send it to a friend, a colleague, or the stakeholder. More will be stakeholder and colleague and not a friend. And the person can also analyze it without opening up Tosca Commander or any automation tool. So this is a really good benefit. You can also also send here the link to the executions area that people can see what's going on. They don't have to have it installed, or they don't have to be maybe in the company's network. So this is a huge benefit. In the end, what I would like to show you is one more configuration, which is the usage with automation object service. As I have installed and triggered the execution directly out of Tosca Commander, I'm not seeing the results here back again in my repository. I can only analyze them by using here the web platform. So to do so, I mean, if you're using DEX already, then this is a huge benefit. So you could, on the top to your DEX configuration, also set up E2G. You don't have to do much more, just then setting actually configurations, and that's it. Means here on my second virtual machine, I'm having the DEX server and automation object service already configured. And what I can do here is I can select here Tricentis service configuration, and after it opened up, after it opened up, here in automation object service, when I scroll down, I will find here the client, the URL configuration again, like we had it before. Going to change here the placeholder to Tricentis Sadik. And I need to enter here again the client ID and client secret. As we have seen it in the agent configuration, now it is an easier practice for us. So I need to go back to Octo. The tab is already opened up or still open up. I need to go back here to the applications area again. And when I go down, I can see a configuration called Tosca server when I open it up. Here we are having the client ID. I'm going to copy first the client ID and enter it here into my ID. And the next one is the client secret. And that's it. I mean, if you're having the automation object service configuration already ready, like I am having here, I'm having the repository configuration is already entered, and DEX configuration is also entered. I was using DEX previously, and I would like to use automation object service also to communicate with Elastic Execution Grid. And to do so, it is actually nothing more than just adding here the configuration and the URL to E2G. After I'm ready, I can click here on save, and every services are getting restarted. And to not let you stare at how the services restarts, I would like to show you during that time how it looks like once you have activated automation object service and triggered something by it. So I'm having here already examples. As you can see, when you have executed your cloud test events and your execution lists, when the results are getting back imported into your repository, we are archiving here the previous execution, and the current execution is getting back imported into your Tosca Commander as you are known, like as it is familiar to you with DEX execution already. Means you're not losing any kind of information. And how you can, and the question is, how can I now trigger it by automation object service? Well, it is easy. Just right click here, Select on the cloud test event again, what you would like to execute. Select your execute and import results. And when your automation object service is right configured, you can see here in the left corner again also that it is executing, and after it is done, your automation object service is responsible to execute it. Now, because I have restarted it, automation object service has always for the first execution a little bit startup time. But in the end of the day, I will then find here in my executions area the executed test case, means in a couple of seconds. While we are waiting, I would like to also explain one more thing, because I have mentioned the agent a couple of seconds ago and the T-Box installation. What you can do currently is also when you're having already DEX agents and you would like to try it out, it is the best and easiest approach here. When you copy paste your E2G agent on the top to your DEX agent, you can have them both on a one machine when you would like to try it out and then use it. Use E2G. What I don't recommend is starting both agents at the same time, but you can like close your DEX agent and start up your E2G agent to try it out when you would like to try it out on a fast and easy way. As you can see, the execution has already started on my agent. Now when I reload here, we will see, I need to click the reload button. We will see here also the second execution. Now when I click on it, I can expand here all of the files, like all of the test cases. And for the finished ones, I can already click on them and then analyze what happened. And for the one which is getting executed, we are waiting here for the results so that I can analyze it too. Now in the end, what I would like to show to you is the agents area, because we haven't seen it at all. So let's go there. And here what you will see is once the agent was connected, it will list it up here in the agents area. On the left hand side, you are having the name of the agent, the connection status, if it is connected or disconnected, when the last update was, means, for example, if something gets executed, or if something, or if the agent disconnects or states like that, are updates. And on the right hand side, you can see the characteristics for the agents. Currently, I haven't configured anything. This will be also in the documentation, you can find how to add your own characteristics. But currently, those are the standard configurations here. So it means we haven't had any characteristics. But if so, we would see it here down below. And this is how it looks like. So let's check if our execution is already finished. It will take now a couple of seconds again. I have to I have to say the automation what I have done here in the total of all orders is not my Mona Lisa of test automation, because it is not going with all best practices that we had. So I would maybe recommend not to do what I have done here in your automation. I'm having weights here, static weights. But once it is ready and finished, and the execution is also finished, which just right now happened, I guess. Let me just reload here. I will show you one more behavior, and we are ready here from the demonstration part. Now it failed, as you can see. What I can do is I can open up this test execution, go here to the search area and search for failed, for example. And I can easily jump here from top to down to see what happened and what failed. So this is also a huge behavior, and I can analyze here also the tags to see what happened without having the need to go to Tosca Commander or start it and then find the right execution. So this is a really huge benefit. So in the end, I'm going to close my agent and I'm going to show you a last behavior. Once your agent is disconnected, it is not getting deleted here from the list. We are giving it a state disconnected. So you can also see afterwards if an agent had connections or a virtual machine had connections. So you can analyze it also better. So this is the part about the demonstration and how you can use Tosca Commander in combination with E2G. I would like to answer a couple of questions. Like most of the questions will be, one of them will be, what is the difference between DAX and Elastic Execution Grid? Well, it is actually hard to answer that question in only one sentence or maybe a couple of points. But I have tried to here still find a couple of bullet points to show the differences. So the execution result sharing is easier with Elastic Execution Grid. It is different. The tests are more reliable. When you would like to execute test cases, you can also execute them not only from the T-Box perspective, but you could also execute tests or automations based on scripts, for example, PowerShell. We are calling it runner concept. And we are continuously deploying our features in E2G into the cloud. And we are currently in a tech preview, as you know, and we have already done production deployments twice, if I'm not wrong, since we have released. So, and also to bring in continuously information. When you would like to start using E2G, here are our links. So again, on the top, our onboarding link. So I would recommend to first create an account and onboard, and then by using our documentation, you can easily find around E2G and what it can do. Just be careful that if configuration is needed to be done only for E2G, you will find it in our documentation now here in the link. But if you need to do something on Tosca Commander side, you will find it in the Tosca Commander's in documentation. If you would like to contact us, you can here also by using the email address contact us. But if you would like to reach out to us, and as I can see, there are a couple of questions in the Q&A, so let's answer them. So the first question that I see here in the Q&A section is, how does the pricing model look like for Elastic Execution Grid? Well, as we are in the tech preview right now, you can use as a Tricentis customer Elastic Execution Grid for free. The detailed pricing model will be published with the GA release of Elastic Execution Grid. The only limitation what we have, although, is the amount of the agents which you can connect to Elastic Execution Grid, which is right now 50. The next question is, which Tosca versions are supported with E2G? Great question. Let's summarize it up. 14.0 is providing a try-out add-on. 14.2 is going to support Elastic Execution Grid with patch 3. And 14.3 is already supporting Elastic Execution Grid directly in the newest version. The next question is, can I use Elastic Execution Grid out of Tosca Commander? Yes. By reading over documentation, you can achieve the understanding of how our agents are working. You can create your own runners, and by creating the own runners, you can on the top connect the agents then to Elastic Execution Grid. By reading over documentation, how our APIs are working, you can upload your test artifacts, you can define the flows, and you can start the execution. If you're interested in those use cases, feel free to reach out to us by sending us an email.